Right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can stay where you are, letting life happen to you, or you can step forward, claim the power that's already inside you, and become the person you were born to be. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary isn't luck. It's the habits you choose, the actions you take, and the courage to refuse anything less than greatness. Clarity of purpose is the foundation of everything you do in life. Without it, you drift, reacting to circumstances instead of creating your reality. When you know exactly who you are and what you want, every action you take, every decision you make, becomes aligned with your ultimate goals. Clarity is not just about knowing what you want. It's about understanding why you want it. It's about having a vision so vivid that it pulls you forward even when the path is uncertain, when obstacles appear, when doubt creeps in. Purpose is the compass that keeps you on course when the world tries to pull you off track. People who lack clarity often waste years chasing things that don't matter to them, trying to fill a void they don't even understand. They get lost in the noise of other people's expectations, in the pursuit of status, approval, or comfort. But when you have clarity of purpose, you no longer chase the meaningless. You pursue what ignites your soul, what makes you feel alive, what leaves a mark. It transforms the way you approach challenges. Obstacles stop being roadblocks and start being tests that measure how badly you want what you're chasing. Clarity of purpose also sharpens your focus. Your energy stops being scattered, your time stops being wasted, and your priorities become obvious. Every yes and no becomes easier to define because your purpose acts as a filter. You know which opportunities serve your path and which ones distract you. Life becomes less about surviving day to day and more about intentionally building towards something greater. It's what separates the people who talk about their dreams from the ones who achieve them. Clarity of purpose requires reflection, honesty, and courage. You must look inward and ask yourself the tough questions. What do I stand for? What am I willing to fight for? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? It also requires letting go of fear. The fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of stepping into something bigger than yourself. When your purpose is clear, fear loses its power over you because you know that every risk you take is a step towards something meaningful. Purpose gives you momentum. On the days when motivation is low, when the world feels heavy, when doubt creeps in like a shadow, your purpose becomes the fuel that pushes you forward. It's not something you turn on and off, it's a constant guiding force. People with clarity of purpose don't wait for permission, they create their own path. They don't let setbacks define them, they let their purpose define their response. And this clarity isn't static, it evolves as you grow, as you learn, as you face life's twists and turns. But even as it evolves, the core remains knowing who you are, knowing what matters most, and aligning everything you do with that knowledge. When you commit to clarity of purpose, you stop living for the approval of others or the fleeting satisfaction of temporary achievements. Instead, you live intentionally, boldly, and fully in alignment with your highest vision. Every step you take, every decision you make, every sacrifice you endure gains meaning because it serves something greater than yourself. Relentless discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Dreams alone are not enough. They are fragile, fleeting, and easily forgotten. Discipline is what transforms those dreams into tangible results. It is the daily commitment to show up, to do the work, to push forward even when your energy is low, when your motivation is wavering, when the world is telling you to quit. Discipline is not about punishment or rigidity. It is about choice, consistency, and control over your own actions. It is the willingness to delay short-term comfort in pursuit of long-term success. People who achieve greatness are not inherently more talented or lucky, they are disciplined. They understand that the path to mastery is not glamorous. It is filled with repetition, sacrifice, and relentless effort. Discipline means getting up early when you want to sleep in, practicing when you feel tired, and finishing what you start even when it becomes difficult. It is the refusal to make excuses, the refusal to settle, the refusal to allow circumstances to dictate your progress. Relentless discipline also builds resilience. When life throws challenges in your path, when failure hits hard, discipline keeps you moving. It gives you structure and stability when everything else feels chaotic. It teaches you that consistency beats intensity, that small, focused actions repeated over time create exponential results. Discipline is what separates those who wish from those who achieve. It shapes character, strengthens willpower, and molds the mind to stay on course regardless of distractions. In a world full of instant gratification and constant noise, discipline is the silent force that keeps you grounded. It is choosing to work when it's hard, to push when it's uncomfortable, and to commit when no one is watching. Every great accomplishment, from athletes to entrepreneurs to artists, is built on the foundation of discipline. There is no substitute. Discipline is also deeply personal. It is not about competing with others. It is about competing with yourself, about becoming the best version of who you can be. It requires self-awareness, honesty, and humility, recognizing where you fall short and committing to improve. It is about building habits that align with your goals and sticking to them even when progress feels slow. The more disciplined you become, the more freedom you gain. Ironically, discipline creates liberation because it allows you to control your time, your decisions, and your future. Without it, you are at the mercy of impulses, distractions, and external circumstances. With it, you move with purpose, power, and confidence. Relentless discipline is not a one-time effort. It is a lifestyle, a mindset, a relentless pursuit of excellence. It demands sacrifice, patience, and endurance. And while it may be uncomfortable in the moment, it is what separates those who dream from those who live their dreams. Every small choice, every daily action, every commitment you make compounds over time and through discipline. Ordinary actions become extraordinary results. Integrity in action is the measure of who you truly are when no one is watching. It is the alignment between your words and your deeds, the consistency between what you promise and what you deliver. Without integrity, talent, intelligence, and ambition mean very little because people cannot trust you, and trust is the currency of influence, leadership, and lasting success. Integrity is not situational, it is steadfast. It is choosing to do the right thing even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or unpopular. It is the quiet commitment to honor your values, your principles, and your responsibilities regardless of external pressures or temptations. People with integrity understand that every action has consequences and that their reputation is built over time through countless decisions, both big and small. One dishonest act can undo years of trust, while consistent integrity compounds into respect, credibility, and influence that cannot be bought. Integrity in action also shapes character. It teaches you accountability, humility, and self-respect. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, you develop the discipline to follow through, the courage to admit mistakes, and the resilience to correct them. It is about being honest with yourself first, recognizing where you fall short, and taking responsibility for your own growth. Integrity extends beyond personal behavior. It affects relationships, partnerships, and communities. People gravitate toward those they can rely on, those whose word is their bond, those whose actions reflect their promises. Leadership is impossible without integrity because leadership is built on trust. You cannot inspire or influence others if they doubt your authenticity. Integrity transforms the way you approach challenges. When you act with integrity, you make decisions that honor your principles, not just your convenience. You resist shortcuts that compromise your values, even when the easy path seems tempting. It is the moral compass that guides you through uncertainty, the anchor that keeps you grounded when the world tries to pull you off course. Integrity in action also fosters long-term success. Quick wins achieved through deceit or compromise rarely last. True achievement is sustainable, resilient, and impactful because it is built on a foundation of honesty and reliability. People with integrity are consistent, dependable, and predictable in the best way. They are the ones others turn to in times of need, the ones whose influence grows naturally because their actions align with their words. Cultivating integrity requires self-awareness, courage, and deliberate practice. It requires reflection on your values, an understanding of what you stand for, and a commitment to live according to those standards. It is tested in moments of pressure, temptation, and adversity, and it is proven when you choose the hard right over the easy wrong. Acting with integrity is not always glamorous, and it is not always rewarded immediately, but it builds a legacy that outlives fleeting success, money, and recognition. It is the invisible force that shapes reputation, inspires trust, and opens doors that talent alone cannot unlock. Integrity in action is the heartbeat of credibility, the soul of leadership, and the foundation of a life lived honorably. It is the quiet power that commands respect, the steady hand that guides decisions, and the unwavering principle that sets the standard for greatness. Fearless responsibility is the cornerstone of personal power. It is the willingness to take full ownership of your life, your decisions, and your outcomes without blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck. Many people spend their lives pointing fingers, making excuses, and rationalizing why things didn't work out. But those who embrace responsibility understand that blaming others only robs them of control and progress. Fearless responsibility means looking in the mirror and saying, "This is on me. My life, my choices, my actions, my results." It is about rejecting victimhood and embracing agency, the recognition that you have the ability to influence your reality no matter the challenges you face. When you take responsibility fearlessly, you stop waiting for permission, for opportunities to appear, or for others to validate your worth. You stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver, steering with purpose, intention, and courage. It requires honesty, the kind that is unflinching and uncompromising. You must confront your mistakes, acknowledge your shortcomings, and take deliberate steps to correct them. There is no room for denial or half measures. Fearless responsibility also means embracing the consequences of your choices, both good and bad. It is easy to celebrate success when things go your way, but true responsibility is tested in moments of failure, when setbacks threaten to derail you. The person who refuses to accept responsibility will collapse under pressure, but the one who embraces it will rise, learn, adapt, and keep moving forward. Responsibility is empowering because it shifts the locus of control from the outside world to within yourself. When you blame others, you give away your power. When you accept responsibility, you claim it back. It transforms challenges into opportunities, failures into lessons, and obstacles into stepping stones. Fearless responsibility also requires courage, because taking ownership is rarely comfortable. It means being accountable for outcomes you cannot control completely, and it means facing criticism, skepticism, or disappointment without deflecting blame. It demands maturity, patience, and resilience, and it cultivates an inner strength that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Those who practice fearless responsibility do not wait for ideal conditions or for life to be fair. They act decisively, solve problems proactively, and shape their environment instead of being shaped by it. Responsibility transforms your mindset from one of limitation to one of empowerment. It creates a sense of agency that fuels action, motivates perseverance, and builds confidence. The more you practice it, the more you realize that even in situations that feel overwhelming, there is always something you can do, some choice you can make, some step forward you can take. Fearless responsibility also affects your relationships. People respect those who own their actions and commitments. It inspires trust because others know that you do not shirk accountability, that you are reliable, and that you will face challenges head on. It fosters leadership because those who embrace responsibility lead by example, demonstrating that greatness is not about avoiding difficulty, but about confronting it with courage, clarity, and purpose. Taking responsibility fearlessly requires letting go of excuses, denial, and self-pity. It demands self-reflection, discipline, and a relentless focus on what you can control. When you adopt this mindset, you stop reacting passively to life and start creating it, shaping it, and directing it with deliberate intention. Unshakable faith is the invisible force that drives extraordinary achievement. It is the unwavering belief in yourself, in your vision, and in the process, even when the world doubts you, even when obstacles seem insurmountable, even when progress is invisible. Faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deep, deliberate trust in your potential and in the purpose that fuels your actions. People with unshakable faith understand that setbacks are temporary, failures are lessons, and challenges are opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Faith empowers you to take risks that others avoid, to push forward when fear whispers that you cannot, and to persevere when the journey feels impossible. It is the inner conviction that no matter the circumstances, you can rise above them and reach your goals. Unshakable faith transforms doubt into determination. It silences the inner critic that tells you to settle, that warns you to be cautious, that convinces you that your dreams are too big. When your faith is strong, you no longer depend on external validation or the approval of others. You move forward because you know who you are, you know what you are capable of, and you know what you are meant to accomplish. Faith also fuels resilience. Life is unpredictable, full of challenges that test your strength, patience, and courage. Those who lack faith give up when the first storm hits. Those with unshakable faith stand firm, trusting that every obstacle is part of the process, that every delay has a purpose, and that persistence will eventually lead to breakthrough. It is faith that keeps you moving when motivation fades, when energy is low, and when the world seems against you. Faith is not passive, it requires action. Believing is not enough unless it is paired with deliberate effort, preparation, and consistency. True faith inspires relentless work, discipline, and focus. It is the engine behind every bold step, every courageous decision, and every act of perseverance that pushes you closer to your vision. Unshakable faith also influences the people around you. Confidence grounded in conviction inspires others to believe in you, to support you, and to follow your lead. It creates momentum that extends beyond your personal efforts, building a network of encouragement and opportunity. Cultivating faith requires self-awareness, patience, and courage. It requires you to confront fear, uncertainty, and doubt head on, and to choose belief over hesitation, vision over distraction, and action over inertia. Faith strengthens with experience. Every time you act despite fear and succeed, it grows. Every time you survive a challenge, it solidifies. Every time you persevere, it becomes a shield against future doubt. Unshakable faith is also a mindset that refuses to settle for mediocrity. It dares you to envision possibilities beyond what seems realistic, to trust that your potential is far greater than your current circumstances, and to pursue excellence relentlessly. It empowers you to dream bigger, act bolder, and endure longer because it is rooted in the conviction that the obstacles you face are temporary, the risks you take are worth it, and the goals you are pursuing are achievable. Faith is the force that turns hope into results, vision into reality, and potential into greatness. It transforms uncertainty into opportunity, fear into courage, and adversity into advantage. Serve beyond self is the principle that separates ordinary achievement from true greatness. It is the understanding that life's highest purpose is not just about personal gain, recognition, or comfort, but about impact, contribution, and the positive influence you have on others. When you commit to serving beyond yourself, your actions gain depth and meaning, and your success becomes more than just a measure of what you accomplish. It becomes a reflection of the difference you make in the world. Serving beyond self requires shifting your focus from what you can get to what you can give. It is about asking how your time, your talent, and your resources can lift others, inspire change, and create opportunities that would not exist without your effort. Those who operate solely for personal benefit often find their achievements fleeting or hollow, but those who serve build legacies that endure because they create value that extends far beyond themselves. Service is not always about grand gestures. Often it is the consistent, intentional actions that impact people's lives in ways unseen and unrecognized. It may be mentoring someone struggling to find their path, helping a colleague overcome a challenge, or contributing to your community in ways that multiply hope and opportunity. The ripple effect of service is powerful. When you lift others, you elevate yourself, your perspective expands, and the world around you improves. Serving beyond self also fosters humility and empathy. It reminds you that your achievements are connected to others, that no one succeeds in isolation, and that true leadership is grounded in the well-being and growth of those you influence. It requires the willingness to put aside ego, pride, and personal convenience in order to contribute to something larger than yourself. People who serve beyond themselves inspire loyalty, trust, and respect because their intentions are authentic, selfless, and consistent. Service transforms relationships, creating bonds built on gratitude, support, and shared purpose. It challenges you to think long-term, to consider the lasting impact of your actions rather than immediate rewards. It also teaches perspective, reminding you that your struggles, successes, and resources exist within a larger ecosystem of human connection, and that using what you have to benefit others multiplies the value of every gift, skill, and opportunity. Serving beyond self is a mindset, a habit, and a lifestyle. It requires selflessness, courage, and dedication to act in ways that benefit others even when it is inconvenient or when recognition is unlikely. It is choosing contribution over consumption, impact over indulgence, and legacy over immediate gratification. True service does not diminish your success, it amplifies it. By investing in others, you create networks of collaboration, goodwill, and mutual growth that expand your influence and accelerate progress toward collective goals. It also cultivates a sense of purpose and fulfillment that no personal achievement alone can provide, because human beings are wired to thrive when they contribute, connect, and leave a positive mark on the world. Serving beyond self is the ultimate expression of greatness because it transcends individual ambition and connects your life to something enduring, meaningful, and transformative. It is the recognition that your highest calling is not only to succeed for yourself, but to empower, elevate, and inspire those around you, creating a legacy that outlives you and shapes the future in ways that are both profound and lasting.